Am I up? Yay! Okay. Woohoo! There's like that awkward silence. How are you guys tonight? Thank you guys so much for being on the call. I am so impressed with all of the participation that you guys have done and really soaking up every little bit of what some of these superstars are sharing with you guys. And I gotta say, you know, I watched Bonnie's videos several times and Dara's and Tara's, and I'm like, you know what? I got nothing left. I don't know what to tell you guys on inviting that those ladies didn't just freaking knock it out of the park. And so I got nothing. Call's over. No, just kidding. So in all seriousness, I did watch Bonnie several times and I had an aha moment on what I can share with you guys. And what Bonnie had said is she says that your private inviting has to match your public timeline. And that is something I really want to share with you guys because I feel like that is something I was actually trained on with one of my previous careers in pharmaceutical sales. And I kind of carried that over and never realized it was something that was beneficial. So I'm going to share with you guys some of inviting, but through your public billboard, basically your timeline. And why that's important is this. If you're publicly inviting people and then they go to your timeline and it's just not like that great, there's going to be a disconnect. So there's one of these things. Think of when, you know, people are always like, I don't want to be salesy. And as Bonnie said, I don't want to be icky. You know, people don't want to be icky. All it is a difference between people creating resistance and people putting their guard down. So if you think of the mall, right? When someone walks through the mall and they chase after you, wanting to put lotion or curl your hair or do all these things, that creates resistance. Like literally you start going the other way and like walking towards like a baby store or something that has nothing to do with what you would want to buy, but you're trying to avoid it because there's high resistance. What we want to do with our timeline is have low resistance. So I'm going to share some tips with you tonight on how to post and create affinity and engagement on your timeline with low resistance. So, okay, and I will give you my notes. I'm going to share some pictures with you guys. So I'm going to give you all of that. So don't feel like you're not writing fast enough. You'll get everything. Okay, so the two tips I'm going to give you on this call that I'm going to get into tonight. Number one is vision. And this is a little bit different than the vision of your why and why you're doing this business. And the second one is how to post with a purpose. So the first thing is vision. Knowing what your vision is going to help you guys create conversations that bring, like your pictures will come to life, your conversations will come to life, and you'll be able to connect with more people if your posts are consistent with your vision. So I'm going to go into that a little bit more. How many of you grew up with the vision you wanted for your adult life? Probably most of us, right? You think, oh, I want the white picket fence, or I want a career, or I want to have 2.5 kids, I want to have a certain car, live in a certain place, right? We have this amazing vision of what we want for a personal life. We may even know what we want to do for a living. Then we get into our adulthood and life gets in the way. Things change and our vision starts to change. Or maybe, you know, we're 35 and we haven't met the right person yet. And we're like, oh man, you know, this wasn't the way it was supposed to be. You get into a job that you work so hard for and you don't get the fulfillment you thought, right? Having vision and having a plan for your business is equally as important as having a vision for your life. So one of the examples I'd like to give is my husband and I opened a car lot about 6 years ago. When we went to an we had to borrow $30,000 to open the car lot. And they wanted to know, well, what's your business plan? Well, imagine if every single one of you had to submit a business plan before you became a coach, right? You're probably like, what? I don't even know where to start. But to be a successful coach, you have to know your plan and you have to know your vision. That's just part of business. Where you want to go and the kind of people you want to affect and influence with your business is going to help catapult the posts that you guys create to connect with so many more people than you even can comprehend. Okay? What kind of people do you want on your team? What's the vibe that you want on your team? What's important to you? What do you want this business to give to the people that join your team? What do you want our products to do for your customers? what do you offer that's unique, right? If you have a car lot, what makes you different than every other car lot around? What makes you stand out? These are all part of your business plan, your business vision. Okay, here's a little hokey story, and those of you that came to the Tampa training heard this story about the importance of vision. So in December of 2007, I had been single for about 2 years. Had two young kids, my two daughters, and I had probably been on about 100 one-time dates. Like, it was awful. Like, you go to the date and like within 10 minutes, you're like, oh, please, geez, I just want to get out of here. This guy's totally not for me, or I wasn't for him. It was wrong. And it's exhausting, right? So in December, I was off from work, and I watched two particular movies. The first one I watched was The Secret. I don't know if you guys have seen The Secret, but I'm watching The Secret, and I'm like, all right, so if I visualize a check, checks are going to start coming in the mail, and I visualize a parking spot, and it's going to like appear when I go to the mall during Christmas this week. You know, it's kind of hokey pokey, but I'm like, all right, how's my life working for me? I may as well give it a try. And the other movie I saw was this movie. It's called The Wedding Date, to a Deborah Messing and Dermot McMurray. And the movie is about this woman who is going to a wedding in England, and she doesn't have a date, and she's embarrassed because her ex-fiance or ex-whoever's going to be at the wedding, and she's like, I don't want to go to this wedding dateless. So she hires this British guy to escort her to the wedding. And he's so charming and is totally like a soft spot for her to fall, and just hilarious and totally cute with this awesome British accent. And I'm lying there in my bed going, that's the kind of guy I want. I totally want to meet that guy. So I thought, you know what? I went to Blockbuster, I bought this movie, and I set it on my nightstand. And every night when I went to bed, I envisioned this kind of guy coming into my life. And every morning I'd wake up, he wasn't there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I had to believe, you know what? I may as well just continue to believe it's going to happen. And you know what happened? This thing actually fell behind my nightstand. And about a week later, I am out at a bar and I meet my future husband. And I never connected the dots until we moved into a home about 6 months later, and we moved that piece of furniture, and there was this movie cover sitting right there. And it took my breath away, because those of you that know my husband is this amazingly funny, witty, soft spot for me to fall, awesome, charming British guy. And, you know, maybe it's totally coincidence, but I don't believe that's the case. I truly believe in the power of vision. And that is why vision boards are so important. The vision you guys have for your business is the most powerful thing that you can focus on every single day. And when you have that vision, you are going to be able to craft posts that people are going to feel that exact same vision with you. So knowing what you want for your team and your business. You know, think about if I went on to Match.com back then and I said, hey, I'm looking for a guy in Tampa, right? I need to be more descriptive with what I want. When you're attracting coaches, you want to know exactly what you want, the kind of person you want on your team. The more descriptive, the better, because your posts you'll be able to craft and write to find those people and speak to those people. Okay, if you guys don't know what you want for your vision, how are people going to follow you and want to be a part of that vision? Okay, so now that you know your vision, how to post with purpose. And why is this important, right? You want to design your timeline around your vision. You know, maybe a couple days a week you have a certain theme you want to do, and then you switch it up. And you want to be able to best share your vision with other people. So here's my first tip. Inviting through your public pictures. So when I was in pharmaceutical sales, they spent tons of money on training for us. And one of the things they drilled into us was this. When you go into a doctor's office and you show them a picture or you tell them about a certain drug, you don't talk about the drug. You talk about the kind of patient that drug is helping. So if I'm selling a drug for IBS, I'm going to say, most likely that 30 to 40-year-old girl comes in and she's hunched over and she can't go out for very long because she has issues. I'm describing that person. Or the diabetic person, they would say, describe someone who's 30 to 40 pounds overweight and maybe carrying a little bag of 12 medications and, is struggling with their eyesight. Because when I'm saying that to the doctor, I'll be long gone. But when that 8th patient comes in that day and it's the vision that I have described, then they're going to remember that's the right drug for that exact patient. So I took that concept when I started Beachbody, and when I spoke to people, I wanted to make sure that I was creating the vision of exactly who I was speaking to, so that people would see that picture and see themselves in that picture. And what that's going to do is it's going to not be as salesy, right? If you, one of my coaches is like, you always say right. You'll be less salesy if you are sharing and giving pictures that are going to connect with other people, right? So here's something else. Don't use stock photos. If you are going to post about, say, Shakeology, what I would recommend is, here's another tip. People are going to see, initially they're going to see what you post, like the initial picture. But if they're paying attention to you, they're going to start looking around. Like you've probably noticed I have flowers back there. You may have noticed I don't have my fake fingernails on. You start noticing details in the background of the picture. And so when you're sharing a story about something, maybe one of your kids, strategically having a Shakeology in the background or having the TV on with the workout, all of those are subliminal messages that continue to advertise your product while connecting with you. Compared to holding up, hey, here's my Shakeology I'm drinking today, right? Having it a little bit more subliminal and purposeful and creative in your picture. And I'm going to give you guys some examples. Think about when someone is bragging about themselves and they're like, gosh, I'm so great at this and I'm really good at that. I dated guys like that, actually. Totally trying to sell you on what they're all about. Isn't it more authentic when someone just is who they are and you start seeing the qualities that they have on your own and you discover those qualities in them? So that is one of the things that I think about when I post. I don't want to shove it in their face, everything I offer. I slowly drip and breadcrumb different parts of my vision, different parts of my why, what's important to me. And I strategically place things so that there's slow bits of reminders about my life and what's possible. So trust that your audience is paying attention. Let them connect the dots and be mindful with your pictures. The second thing, your timeline is inviting people and showing people pieces of the puzzle. Right? You're building a big puzzle. There's a big picture and there's all these little pieces. And every little post you make is another piece to that puzzle. And I'm going to give you a really good example on what I mean. So I shared with you guys in my intro, it took me a year to join as a coach. In that, now I knew Lindsay prior to Beachbody, and I saw that she won a trip to Cabo. I saw that they had moved to a place on the beach. I saw that she was starting to earn money and not having to bartend. I saw that there was like this really cool thing that was called Summit that they were going to. All of those things were pieces of the puzzle that she had shared. I saw she had freedom. Now, what was my why? All of those are a little bit of things that are important to be lit, but let me tell you what got me to join. One day I was working. Now, in pharmaceutical sales, you drive all day long. I was so sick of driving in my car and looking out of a windshield. I went to her house for lunch. I walked inside and there was her desk. And at her desk, she had flowers and a candle and a view of out her window and pictures of her family. And I laugh and I think she had me at home. She had said she'd worked from home, but I didn't see that vision of working from home. I didn't know what that meant because I had never done that before. But when I saw it, it's like my heart came out and I was like, I can do this. I can do this. I was a product of the product and drank Shakeology a year before joining. It wasn't even the products. It was the vision of being at home. So what do you think I post about and create a vision of? Sitting at my home desk, loving my life. This is what my business looks like. Because I can't invite everybody to my house and show them that vision, but I can through pictures. And every single one of you can do that too. So here are some things to consider when you're posting and you're creating feelings and things that people can relate to. They're going to pull them in to your timeline so that when you do start private conversations with them, they're so much more powerful. Number one, lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle am I having? And if I don't have it now, what kind of lifestyle do I want? Do I want one where I have to say no to my kids if they want to go to Disney or summer camp or want to play football and I can't afford the equipment? What kind of lifestyle are you dreaming of? It's part of your vision on why you do this. What kind of family life do the people you are speaking to have? What is their family? Like for me, most of my demographic, they've got kids, about teenagers, to about 8 years old. So if I'm going to write a post, I'm going to speak and show pictures that match that vision. What kind of values do you have, and how can your pictures show those values to the people you're trying to attract? What struggles do they deal with? What mommy issues do they have? And what's the age of the people you're speaking to? What do they look like? What is important to them? Those are all things that you can take a picture, right? A picture says 1,000 words, and they can go through the feed and they're like, that's me. That's me. It's so much more relatable long before they even read what you've started to write, which I'll get to in a second. Jennifer Baladassari, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. She messaged me last night and she says, Shay, you're 43 and I'm the same age as you. I don't know how to speak to my audience at 43. Like I see all these 20-year-olds and I struggled with the same thing. And here's my tip because it goes right along with this. You have to speak to your age demographic, right? So I am not going to say, hey, you guys can be hot in a bikini and be at the beach. And, 45-year-olds are going to be like, I don't really care. Because what my demographic is doing, they're going to their high school reunions right now. They're 20, 25, 30-year reunions, and they're seeing that people look like crap, that they're not taking care of themselves. Or there's a list of people who haven't even made it that far in life because they passed away because of bad health. And it scares the crap out of them. Or they're going to visit their parents and they're seeing that they're aging and they're having strokes and they're realizing their own mortality through family history and they need to get their crap together or they're going to end up along the same path as their parents. That's what people my age freak out about, not about a bikini. So if I'm talking to a 20-year-old, I'm not going to paint the picture of I would of someone who's in their 40s and vice versa. Speaking to your demographic and sharing pictures of the type of person you want is going to pull those people into your Facebook as if like there's this invisible string connecting them to you. Okay. I'm going to show you a few pictures that I got just going from random feeds today, and I'll post these later. Okay, so this one's of Scotty Hobbs, and what I love about this picture, other than he looks totally hot, and I'm sorry, Gabby, for saying that, but he does, is look how, like, product placement with the Shakeology apron, but he's also a product of the product. Look at his arms, and it's about clean eating, and he's got something cooking, but such a clever picture for product placement. Here's another one. This is of one of my coaches, Robin, and she did the ultimate reset. And so she's got not just your typical picture of all the food, but she's standing up, taking a picture, showing, hey, selfies are kind of cool. I'm having fun. And over here is her ultimate reset book. Very strategically placed. Brilliant. Here's another one. I got this one off yours, Barbie. Of Barbie's page. And what I feel when I see that picture is, wow, this business, like you can get connected to celebrities. There's a team culture. There's something bigger than just my team. There's team support. That's what I see. And people are happy and fit. awesome picture. None of these are like icky feeling pictures. Here's another one. Brigitte Linford. Now, she's holding a piece of paper. This is such a genius post, but she's talking about the equivalent of her Beachbody business being like a 4-year degree. But she's holding it like a degree, so it's creating that proud, successful, I achieved something image. So when you're scrolling through the feed, people relate to that. This is more of a guy post, but he is showing, you know, you could have alcohol, you could have supplements. But what I see here is that we offer more than just fitness programs and Shakeology. That is so clever. Okay, this is one that I did. And I tended to use more stock photos in the beginning because this was a Shakeology post. But this post, with this lady falling asleep, number one, I picked a woman who was my age from corporate that would sit at her desk because I would do that and fall asleep because I would need my 2 o'clock coffee. And this was a post about conking out at 2 o'clock, right? How many people are bored at work and they see that and they're like, oh my God, I just thought I went through a picture of me, right? So, you know, I strategically chose a symbol of the type of person I'm looking for and the emotions that they're feeling. I love this one with Lindsay. So the example here, and this is so clever, like I see she's talking about, you know, having a block in the road, whether it's a mental block or a life block or just challenges that you face. I mean, it's so clever because there's literally signs there, but that stands out. And she's strategically sitting low and looking away as if she's deep in thought. So you don't feel like she's higher than the signs. You feel like she's at a low point. If someone is feeling the exact same way, they're going to relate to that long before they've even started to read what she wrote. This is one I did about Shakeology. But the main point about it was just because people are thin doesn't mean they're healthy. And how many people smoke cigarettes, take diet pills. I did HCG, which nearly freaking caused me breast cancer. And I picked a woman who's got a great bikini body, but she's sad, looks deep in thought, chugging on a cigarette. And what if happened to your, you know, what if the scale put a number on your internal health? And then my post went on about the point I wanted to make. But I wanted to speak to my audience. This is one that, these are all the medications I used to take before Shakeology, and they all expired. And I cleaned out my thing one day, and I'm like, oh my God, I used to take pills to make my, to keep me awake, to not make me hungry. So I would poop, and then I'd poop too much, and then I'd have to take pills to make me not poop. But how many of these medications do you think women are taking? That they're going to see that and it speaks to them. Last one, and I'll post these in the group later. Business opportunities. This is a great example of you had me at home. Here we go. Lindsay Matway, having lunch at her desk. I guarantee if someone's sitting in their cubicle, like office space, having lunch at their desk and they see this picture, that would get my attention. Because she looks comfy, she's in her home, and she's having lunch at her desk while she's working. This is one that I did because the story I talked about was I did so many doctor dinners at night that I missed putting my kids to bed. And I just finished a team call and my son fell asleep on my lap while I was working, and how grateful I was for this business because it's showing the visual of me working, but I'm still with my baby and I'm not missing those important times. And then the last one is Miss Bonnie. And I love this for several reasons and chose it because A, she's not all dolled up, real as they come, chilling out on the couch. I can work with my dog. My dog isn't like locked in a crate for 8 hours a day while I'm at work. I'm chilling, real, comfortable. That's how this business rolls. Those are some awesome examples. And I wanted to give you guys some pictures that speak, that when people are going through the feed, they've not even started to read what you've written. And when you go to private message them, they're going to feel like they know you. Okay, moving on. Stories, and this is pretty quick. Okay. You will move people to action by moving their heart. And you've always heard, you don't want to tell you want to share your stories and share your life and share struggles to connect with people. But you guys get some amazing pictures and then follow it up with an awesome story. And I'm going to give you some ideas. Your posts are going to be amazing and get so much more engagement. So I posted an intro in this group, and that wasn't random. I did that by strategy. How many of you, because I assumed most of you either A, didn't know me, or B, maybe knew me but didn't know those things about me. So now you feel more connected and want to hear what I have to say and show up, right? So think about the same thing when you share your stories. Like the biggest thing, people are like, I don't want to share my story, but that's how people are going to connect with you. That's what made you all feel a little bit closer to me. It was because I shared about myself. It made that connection more real. So they're going to feel like they know you, and they're going to want to support and follow you. So when you write your posts, I'm going to give you 2 quick things to think about. And Dara used this on her call the other day. Feel, felt, found. Or Tara, one of you two, used it on your call. How I felt, you know what? I felt like I had to take all these medications to get through my day, but I felt tired, and I felt this and I felt that. But what I have found is that by drinking Shakeology, I don't need any of these medications because now my body works the way it should. Feel, felt, found. So telling your stories in that sequence will make it super easy. And my second tip is share a struggle and then a solution. And that's going to help people relate to you. You don't want to just share the struggle and sit in it, but share it and show what you're doing to get out of it and the mindset you're using through personal development to end up on the other side of it. Okay, so with inviting publicly, I call it your public billboard. It's a 1-2 punch. If you show the right pictures that speak to people, speak to your vision, and then you have a story that's just like, bam, knocks them out of the park. A thoughtful billboard makes private inviting so much easier. And it's going to build trust, and it's going to build rapport. So, I'm like out of breath. I don't even know what time it is. Oh my God. Okay. So know this. In 5 years, there are 3 things that define success that I've seen in coaches. And it's the difference between coaches succeeding and coaches failing in this business. Do you want to know what these 3 things are? These 3 behaviors? Okay. The first one, consistency. Staying consistent in this business. People think they can do this for 2, 3, 6 months, and then it's just like they're entitled for something to happen. Like, I've been doing this, nothing's happening. Let me tell you how long we had to work at our car dealership before we even made a freaking cent of a profit. Stay consistent. It's the consistent coaches that do well in this business. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on your vision. And know this, the people that you start with in this business most likely aren't going to be people that carry you through this business. Here's why. Because as you get better, your posts will get better, your conversations will get better, and you will attract better people. So don't get hung up on the people that you're starting with. Know that you're in this for the marathon, the long haul, and you're going to continue to attract better and better and better people. Second, patience. Coaches get so impatient. I made a post, nobody liked it. I'll tell you, back when I saw Lindsay Matway's post, 3 people would like it. That's the way it is in the beginning. Why? Because people are sitting back and waiting to see more pieces of the puzzle come to fruition, waiting to see if you are taking you seriously so that then they can take you seriously. Be patient. Be patient with your health and fitness. Be patient with your team. Be patient with your business. It will happen if you trust the process. The third thing that defines a successful coach from the ones that quit that I have seen is confidence. And this sucker will test you over and over and over again in this business because it's not a destination to have confidence, because you'll get freaking right hooked from something you had no idea, and you'll be like, ugh, confidence. And people get beat down on themselves and they lose confidence, and I think it's like they manifest it into the whole business. You will gain confidence through competence. If you are insecure about talking about Shakeology, go get competent on selling Shakeology. If you're insecure with inviting, work on inviting. Do it. Rip the Band-Aid off and just do it, because you'll get more confidence the more competent you feel. And you'll go through personal development. Things will happen and you'll have to keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's the coaches that are willing to do that and don't default through their limitations, their fears, their setbacks. You'll only get there through just freaking doing it. It's like riding a bike. You just have to fall off a couple times. And I'll tell you this, there is no mistake in this business that you can make that can't be fixed. There's no mistake in this business that you can make that can't be fixed. So just do it. Do it unapologetically. Love this business. Know your vision, what it's going to do for you. Because all three, consistency, patience, and confidence, will continue to test you for a reason. And the people that have been successful in this business are the ones that constantly work at their consistency, their patience, and their confidence. So my call to action to you guys is think of your vision. And you don't have to think about this a whole lot, just a couple things, just to start off. And then come up with, what does that vision look like? What audience am I speaking to? What age, what lifestyle, what demographic? And share a picture and maybe just a quick little story, feel, felt, found, on your vision in the comments below the video. Because that kind of practice is going to make you better and better and better, and have your pictures speak to more and more people and connect with you. So that when you click Messenger, hey girl, want to know how you're doing? I saw you just had a baby. They feel like they know you. And it makes it so much easier. So those are my best tips for inviting through your public billboard and making the whole connection network marketing process easier. You guys, thank you so much. I think I went over, but I'm so sorry. I will post the pictures and my notes in the group. Appreciate you all being on the call. I think that's awesome, awesome, awesome content for week 1. Really excited to work with all of you ladies and see all of you new coaches have a phenomenal, thriving business. Good night.